Y'all, I met a transgender South African black woman in Warsaw, Poland. That's right, y'all. This woman, her name is Neo Mosa. She transitioned into a transgender woman in Warsaw and said that she found her trans identity in Poland. How many black people do you know would come from Africa and go to Poland and transition into a transgender woman? Well, today we are going to find out. I spent about 25 minutes with Neo Mosa to discuss her journey of finding her identity as a transgender black woman in Warsaw, Poland. Check it out. Tell all the boys and girls who you are and what your name is.
My name is Neo. Neo Mosa. I am from South Africa and I live in Poland for like 5 years now. Yeah.
And so, how does a trans black girl from South Africa find herself in Warsaw, Poland?
Well, about 5 years ago, I was finishing my high school and I was thinking about where to go to like do my university, and I basically went to Poland to study psychology and ended up starting my transition here. So not only did I find myself here for studies, but I also found myself in a more literal sense in Poland.
Okay, so my next question is, of all the places that you can find yourself as a trans, not only a trans woman, but as a trans black woman, how did Poland become that place? Because this is a country that has some of, it's kind of limited with LGBTQ rights. So I'm really fascinated to hear how that journey unfolded here.
You know, coming from South Africa, I have I think a privilege that our constitution is basically built on social progressiveness and laws that allow for people like me to exist. One of the first countries that actually made it illegal to basically discriminate against someone's sexual orientation. I think the first, actually. And so coming from this country and coming from this background, I think coming to Poland was an easy decision because for me, I already had this inside me, and I don't think I would let a constitution tell me who I am and who I'm supposed to be. So I moved here with knowing that this would not be the most accepting place. However, with my history, I was like, you know what? I have this beautiful foundation and this cannot be taken away from me. So I can move from any place I want to go to and know that I am allowed to be who I am.
Wow, when I hear you say that, it's South Africa gave you that confidence that you could step into the world wherever you are and become yourself.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for this. I think that South Africa has a great constitution for women and the LGBT community. So I was able to come here and not give a fuck about the social status of how, or other issues that were prevalent here, I guess.
I have to stop it right here to talk about how progressive Neo Mosa's home country of South Africa has been when it comes to the rights of LGBTQ plus people. And we have one man primarily to thank for that, and that is Nelson Mandela. Of course, there were plenty of activists who are LGBTQ who are pushing for LGBTQ equality, but one thing about Nelson Mandela in particular is that for a man that was in prison for 27 years, an elder, somebody who was 71 years old when he was released, one of his priorities was to ensure that when South Africa was free of apartheid in 1994 and he became president, he stood in solidarity with LGBTQ plus people. this is a big deal because for all of the negative talk you hear about South Africa when it comes to crime, when it comes to Donald Trump making up lies about black people genociding white South Africans, South Africa has a lot of progressive legislation when it comes to LGBTQ plus people. And in fact, South Africa legalized same-sex marriage in 2006. For context, here in New York City, same-sex marriage was legalized in 2011, and the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriages ought to be legalized across the entire nation in 2015. So South Africa was more than 11 years ahead of the United States when it comes to this social issue. And so Nelson Mandela, being the first leader of a post-apartheid South Africa, has a whole lot to do with that, and he is well respected for his advocacy in support of LGBTQ plus people. So when you hear Neo Mosa speak with the confidence that she's about coming to not South Africa, but going to Poland with, a lot of it comes from the fact that she came from a country that affirmed her identity long before much of the world ever did, and that includes many countries in Europe. Yeah. So how was that transition when you began, if you don't mind sharing with us, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people here in Poland would be inspired by that.
Well, I think that I was avoiding my transition for a long time. My family, my friends had always insinuated or planted a seed of would you, and if you could, when would you? And I was just no, I'm just feminine, you just don't understand. So I started my transition, I think about 4 years ago, and I started it in Poland. The system was quite good, but I also think that I had finished some modeling campaign, and at that time I had lots of money, so I was able to start my transition within a month of deciding that I'm going to do it. So I booked all my appointments, and a month later I had my hormones. So yeah, but also I want to give credit to the people that I had met here. I met an amazing trans sister, and through her I was able to see myself and able to accept myself, because I said, I was not planning to do this, and I was avoiding to do this for a long time. However, once I saw and met someone in real life that was like me, I was okay, maybe it's not so bad, I can do it.
Wow, so interesting that you got that inspiration here in Poland from a transgender woman here.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you were modeling before you began your transition, right? And so do you feel like that helped you with the confidence to move forward, or what?
I don't think modeling helped me with the confidence, honestly, to move forward. I think that meeting my trans sister is the thing that helped me the most, to be honest, because I've always been a diva. I've always wanted to be in front of I've always wanted to be in front of the camera, and this was there before the transition. However, I wanted to be a woman, but I did not want to be a trans woman. So this was some work that I had to do with myself. And once I met this trans sister, I think I just got rid of all this transphobia that I had internalized, and I came full circle and accepted myself.
Yeah, and so I'm curious about what it looks like to start that here in Warsaw, because I have plenty of friends in New York, for example, and I know what it would be like there, because again, people would think this would be the last place, but you said the process and the services here are pretty good. And now, yeah, so I think people would like to know about, when you say it's pretty good, what does that look like?
Well, there is some waiting lists to, of course, get your gender assignment or gender, I guess, medical care. However, I think with the right resources, the right people, I was able to like get my hormones in like a month because, first of all, resources, I mean funds. So this could be my own view, and if someone could not have this and if they can't do it privately, then it could be an issue. So if you want to go through it publicly with like the public health care, then this could take a bit of time. However, since I went with it privately, then I was able to like get everything I needed in like a month.
What's the scene like here for LGBTQ plus people?
It's growing. It's growing. I think that there are lots of events that are happening. I actually think that Poland is the place to be right now. I think that in 5 years, not just for the LGBT people, but I think in general, this is going to be such a different place. Warsaw is going to be such a different place. Because when I came 5 years ago, I did not know any other trans girls, and now I keep seeing more and more, and the space is just changing so much, so quickly.
A lot of y'all are probably wondering, how do Central and Eastern European countries fare when it comes to legal protections for LGBTQ plus people? Well, it depends. You have Poland, for example, that's not the worst country, they're not the best, they're right in the middle. And then you have countries like Ukraine that aspire to be members of the European Union. They're also right in the middle. It depends on the electoral politics of the said country. It also depends on the culture of said country as well. So the Eastern Europe Equality Index says that Czechia, also known as the Czech Republic, because Czechs don't like to be called the Republic, that's a whole nother story for another video, they are ranking number one with an equality index of 72 out of 100. Then you have Poland at number two, which is 51%. Then you have Slovakia coming in at 49, Hungary at 49 also, therefore, and then you have Ukraine at 48 at number 5. And for a country that's in an ongoing war, a country that is aspiring to be in the European Union, ranking number 5 in this index is not bad at all. So Hungary, for example, has legally formalized same-sex marriage, and so Poland just this May registered a same-sex marriage in Warsaw. And Ukraine, the Supreme Court, their version of the Supreme Court, has ruled that same-sex couples should have, similar rights as everyone else. Now, it's not the same as legalized same-sex marriage, but they're moving forward in that regard. There are obviously a lot of issues with discrimination against people in Ukraine, for example, especially if you are transgender. And just because a country has legal protections doesn't necessarily mean that the society accepts it. And so Eastern Europe, when you ask about LGBTQ rights, it just depends on how well the society is moving towards the European Union. And it also depends on how many urban centers are in that country. So most of the protections for LGBTQ plus people, access to services, healthcare, for example, access to hormones, stuff like that, are usually found in city capitals and big cities. If you're going into rural areas, it's not going to be as progressive. Same as the case is around the entire world. So just want to add that tad bit of information there. So how did you think about Poland as a possibility to come and study?
I didn't think about this. It was just presented to me. I went to some international school in South Africa, and they have like this program where they just, I guess, help the graduates of the high school find countries that they want to go to. And when I was finishing my high school, the country that was chosen that year was Poland. And like again, I was like, oh fuck, what's this, super Catholic? I don't know what to expect and stuff. But I was like, I've like worked so hard to be who I am, and I've come full circle to accept myself. Then I did not know that coming here would like begin another process of like finding myself. But then yeah, this is how I came here, just through a school that had connections.
Okay, and you've graduated, right? What did you study?
Psychology.
Psychology. Okay, and so in addition to being trans, what about the black? What's the black scene like here? Because you have all these intersections of being trans and then being black. That's a whole nother thing as well.
You know, I feel like the black scene here, I was like more interactive with it when I first moved here. But then I think that later on, I have like only a few black friends here. Because then I think there could be like some prejudice depending on the countries that people could be in or be from. And oh my God, it's such a difficult question. I don't want to call out any black person here, but then I'm just trying to say that in these spaces, a person like me would probably not be accepted if they come from a country where they have like Islamic values, and someone like me should not exist. So sometimes in these spaces, I felt like maybe out of place. But then I must say that I have some black queer friends here, and we have our own get-togethers, and we speak about these things.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because black folk, it doesn't matter if you're from the continent, doesn't matter if you're from New York, for example, where I'm from. We're already like in smaller numbers comparison to, let's say, once we come over here, and then if you find black people, you have to wonder, are they homophobic? Are they transphobic? Yeah, that's another thing, because just because a person is black doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be community.
Exactly. So a lot of times I found myself navigating and trying to figure out if, certain looks mean that maybe they are like suspicious, or if they don't want me there. But there's like a huge black community here. There's like black parties, and they have fun there. I used to go there with my friend because she loved these spaces, because she loved this Afro music, and I love all types of music. So I tend to find myself going to each of these spaces, not just one.
And so do you think that your social life is a mix of finding the black people who you could be cool with, but also ingratiating yourself with LGBTQ Polish people as well?
Definitely. I want to be around people that have accepted themselves, so then they could come to accept me also. So I think that if someone is unable to come to their own realization and their own acceptance of themselves, then how could they accept me?
And with that said, I'm also curious about being clocked at times. Do you think about that when you're traveling around the country, you're in Warsaw, like, for example, is that one of the things that come to mind when you're trying to find spaces that you can feel safe in?
No.
Okay, no, all right, straight up, no, okay.
I don't believe in this idea of passing. I hate having to think about this idea if I'm like passing and if someone can clock me. I think that if I carry this idea of passing, internally I'm telling myself already that I am presenting something that I'm not. And for me, this is not like an ideology I want to carry. It's a fact, I'm trans. I will have some features people could clock and not. And I don't give a fuck about this. I am who I am. So there's no clocking. It's just recognizing what's this. You can speak about trans passing or like cis passing, but then I think that there could be like cis people that could pass as trans. So this is not something I stress myself with.
How did you start your modeling career here?
My agent found me online. Hey, Wojciech. He found me online and called me in for an interview, and go see. And we, I guess, spoke, and I got a contract afterwards.
How long were you here in Warsaw before the agent found you and you got your contract?
I think I got the contract a year later or something. Yeah, so this was quite quick, but also I had been doing modeling before this. You know, I was like trying to, I guess, um, get some attention. I was trying to, I guess, put myself out there as you do when you try to do something. You just try to put your own effort into it. So I was doing some shoots and signed, and which was really good. I had like some really good shoots here. And then a year later, after working with all these brands, my agent found me and we got signed, and that was it. The rest is history.
So what's it like? What's the modeling scene like here for Black women?
Very niche, I think. I think that, to be honest, oh my God, I'm gonna call out the modeling scene. There's a lot of work to be done, to be honest. I think that sometimes I think to myself that maybe I should move to a different city because of this, or a different country. Because there's like sometimes when you have like casting roles and like casting that's done specifically for Black women, and they want a Black girl with like so and so hair, so and so look, and this is just basically showing how much of a small view that the modeling agencies here or the modeling industry here may have on a Black woman. Like, so I think that this is basically not so good. I think that there's so much more that a Black woman can present than just an afro. And yeah, because this is what they ask for. We're looking for a Black girl with an afro, like this and this and this. She has to look aggressive.
You don't come across as aggressive, and you don't have an afro.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So I think a year into my modeling career, I was decided that I'm not gonna model my afro hair, and I'm just gonna I mean, I can do this for sure, but then I think that I did not want to subscribe to the notions of the Black woman they had in their heads. I want to show that there could be more than just afro hair. There's like so much Black women can do.
So do you push back against these requests during the casting?
I basically speak with the people, speak with the hair artists, makeup artists, and tell them that, oh, you know what, I feel more comfortable like this. I don't want to become a caricature for what you think a Black woman is.
What's the response?
The client thinks that it should be like this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, but do you walk around Warsaw or Poland? Do you see the Black girls wearing huge afros? Maybe sometimes, but do you see they have braids on? They have nice slick buns. Like, could you get with the program? Because these are the people you're selling to, so might as well match their aesthetic.
No, I get it. And so tell me, what do you like about living in Warsaw? Because this is your fourth year, right? Or fifth, yeah. What keeps you here?
I think I should say this in Polish because people will be like, "Oh, 5 years, she's not speaking Polish."
I'm not gonna understand you, but you go ahead. You speak to your people.
No, I think I like what I like the most about Poland is how open the people can be once you get to know them. I think Polish people are very welcoming. I recently had such an amazing interaction with them. I was on a train coming back from vacation in the mountains, and I had this one cabin, and it was like these football fanatics. And usually the football fanatics are like, you're told as a Black person to avoid them at all costs. Like, don't interact with them, walk on the other side of the streets, it can get messy. However, I was like in this one track, and it was just like me and like 5 empty seats, and they all walked in, and one of my friends walked out because we were traveling and we had different seats, and they texted me like 10 minutes later, "Oh, are you all right?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm having whiskey with them." We're like, God's just having a great time. So I'm like, there could be some judgment to Polish people when it comes to how cold they could be, but then I think that underneath this, they're so open, they're so fun, they love a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, what's the dating scene like here?
Amazing. It's amazing. Well, at least for me, I'm satisfied. I have never had like any bad dating experiences, to be honest, because I'm fabulous.
Say it again.
Because I'm fabulous.
Say it to the camera.
Because I'm fabulous. So I've never had any bad dating experiences here. All the men I've dated, all the experiences I've had been good. But then I also should just credit this to myself, because I think that the people we date are just a reflection of ourselves.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all found it interesting. It will really help me if you subscribe to my channel, as well as like and comment on this video, and let me know what you think, and tell me what other types of videos you would like to see me produce. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.